Hello and welcome to Coda Guitar. This is a level 1 lesson on palm muting, but we're looking at putting some accents in here, basically some unmuted strums and some muted strums alongside each other in some fantastic rhythms. So first of all, hopefully you've had a look at the previous lesson just on palm muting, just talking about the basic positioning, the basic technique of how to play that, how to get an effective sound. I'm not going to be covering that again, so please check out that lesson first if you've not done and you're unfamiliar with palm muting. So what are accents? Well, like we said, they're just notes that are unmuted in this case. Effectively what they mean is an accent is a note that just stands out, it's a bit louder, and the easiest way to do that with palm muting is to just unmute some of the strums. So I wasn't playing any louder there with my strumming, I was literally just taking my hand away, because remember, palm muting means that you're dampening the notes. So if you can remember, we've got this hand position, we've found a nice position to rest on the strings so that we're muffling them nicely, and effectively all I'm doing for the accent is just taking my hand away from the strings. So it's kind of like a movement of my wrist, really, just bringing my wrist out, if you can see this. I'll do that from a different angle. So I'm still trying to pluck in the same place, and in fact I've got my hand in the same place. I'm not moving it up or down to get away from the strings to create the open sound, just literally move it up away from the strings, that's it. So if you just want to practice that, I'm just playing an open E chord here, E5. So if you just really want to pause this for a minute and maybe do 2 or 4 strums muted. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. And the trick is, when you go back onto the muting, is to get like a consistent sound, so you always come back onto the same position whereabouts you're resting on the strings, because you could easily go back into a funny place and you're either completely deadening the sound or you've moved off the length of the strings and you're not muting them anymore. But it's not that difficult. Once you can actually get a nice tone with your basic palm muting, to put these accents in isn't actually that hard. But again, like everything else, take your time to start with, and then you can sort of build up speed when it starts to feel comfortable and natural to play in this way. So as before, as with the previous free level 1 lesson, we're just going to be using open E, G5, A5 and back to G5, and we're going to be playing half beat notes, quavers, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and just chugging down strokes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an accent in on beat 1, so I'm going to unmute. I'm not going to mute the very first strum, very first downstroke, and then all of them after that are palm muted. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and a little bit like that, but we'll go a bit more slowly to start with. Okay, so if you want to join in with this after 4, and again, if you're struggling with any power chord shapes, free beginner lessons on the beginner lessons page, there's 2 of them explaining how to play power chords in a bit more detail. So 2, 3, 4 and accent mute, 2 and 3 and 4 and accent mute, 2 and 3 and 4 and accent mute, 2, 3 and 4 and accent mute, 2 and 3 and 4 and. So rewind this by all means, and don't forget a fantastic free drum machine. I've mentioned this a few times already, but I'm hoping that you're going to use it. Really good for your playing. Tools page on the website, So check that out. Literally just open up the drum machine, slow tempo, somewhere maybe between 60 and 80. And remember, because we're playing quavers or half beat notes, the hi-hats, that tss, 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 you just want to match your chugs, your downstrokes, to every single hi-hat beat. And then you play in half beat notes, simple as that. So that is putting the accent on beat 1. So we're now going to try putting the accent on beats 1 and 3. So we're just going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and so on for exactly the same chords. 1 bar, E, G, A, G after 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and accent mute 2 and accent mute 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 4 and. Okay, so again, rewind the video if you want to, play it on your own to start with. Sometimes it actually can be a little bit frustrating trying to play along with a drum beat or something if you haven't quite nailed something, if it's dragging you along. So by all means, try it on your own to start with, but really good to get you playing in time. So as soon as you're halfway there with it, try and play along with the drum beat, or if you've got a metronome at home, try that as well.